Kramer, what are we doing here? Futures wise, I put us all down for over 10.5 wins.
Yeah. Division minus
yes.
230, all the money.
AFC West minus 230.
Borrow from the kids' education fund.
Yeah, I think the Broncos will be frisky, but I can't say they're going to compete
18-1,
with the Chiefs for the division.
So we broke this down early in the process, Sean. But minus 230 compared to the let's see, what was it? The Niners at minus 195. The next favorite to win their division was the Falcons at minus 145. Yeah. Then the Eagles at minus 120. I mean, to me,
Falcons should be not be favored.
To me, the Chiefs and Lions should be in different categories as everyone else. And this is again 230. It's a huge price to pay right now, but it's gonna be. They might win 6 out of their first 8. They might win 8 out of their first 8. To me, this price is minus 500 before they reach their bye. And so that you can lock that up. I know everyone likes a good minus.
Sorry,
price.
what was that?
Oh, the division. We're still talking about the division. I'm not going to give out to make the playoffs.
Okay.
Not juicy enough of a price. I will say this as well. The offense, let's just say the offense does take that big step forward.
Yes.
Who is going to benefit the most from having all this new speed? And maybe Travis Kelce with 1 foot out the door touring with his wife.
I mean, it's Rashee Rice.
Yeah, it's by a mile, and he's not being priced. So however you want to play, Rashee Rice. I mean, we can get ahead of we can talk about the underdog play, right off the bat. Oh, he's not on underdog. All right.
Yeah, that's the thing is he wasn't even represented.
It's soft because the suspension. Then we'll pop over to the long shot markets. First one. For him to lead the league in receiving yards,
what's that at?
80-1.
Oh yeah,
put that on the list because if they're running these speedsters, Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, down the field, and that's going to be what creates this underneath stuff. I based on what they did in the playoffs, especially, it does seem like Rashee Rice is going to be the guy running those kind of intermediate crossers. The routes that should be open, and I don't think I'm going to go to the touchdown market with him. Although it's also 80-1. If you are interested, you can also go division 10-1 in the division, most yards. Sean, put that down for me.
That's one I already had on my sheet.
Oh, okay.
I also did.
No,
that's crazy.
I mean, because it doesn't seem like he's being priced accordingly.
Yeah, like let's say he doesn't get suspended, which we don't.
I don't think he's going to get suspended.
And he hits the ground running, and Kelce, as you said, maybe he's not quite as fast. Whatever. Like it's just going to be a ton of Rashee Rice. I think Xavier Worthy might have a couple big games, but I don't think he's going to compete with. I think Rashee Rice is going to be his number 1 target. So I love this angle.
Biggest question in just doing the AFC West and most receiving yards there. Who else is there? There's just Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
And he's got Gardner Minshew at quarterback. I don't see any other receivers that could challenge.
Yeah, I mean,
whoever's
Devontae
top
Adams at times has been quarterback proof, but the fact that you're getting 10-1 for Rashee Rice is crazy.
Yeah. The odds, it's Adams plus 240, Kelce plus 350, Sutton 8-1, Palmer 10-1, Rice 10-1, Hollywood Brown 10-1. To me, you can't price Rice as the same level as Hollywood Brown, Josh Palmer, and even Cortland Sutton. And so right there, it seems a little mistaken. Why Rice and Kelce aren't identical to me? I guess it's suspension worry, but I think very reasonably based on how you saw this team changing with Rashee Rice last year. Like this is going to be the guy who leads this team in target share. I even think. I think the idea that Kelce is maybe takes a slight step back to Rashee Rice as the true number 1 on the team. So
I can totally see that.
Great point. I do think that's the way to look at it. I was also gonna actually you go, Sean.
No, the Rashee Rice angle was the angle I had. I had the most receiving yards in the AFC West 10-1, and then most receiving yards in the NFL you threw out there. I'll co-sign that at 80-1.
Give me one more because
sure.
If he is, let's just say he does take on a little bit more of the Kelce safety blanket role. Receptions seems unlikely. He does spread it around, but we're going to put that on there at 60-1.
Most receptions in the
I'm
NFL.
gonna play it both ways.
Okay.
I have one more most market.
Sure.
Play.
What do you got?
So we've discussed the team sacks market.
Yeah.
They're only 9-1. They're one of the chalkier teams.
Yes.
Any interest in playing that? I figured we could talk about it.
I think
because they don't really have a guy that you want to go like Chris Jones getting the most sacks seems very unlikely. He's 20-1.
Yeah, I like it, but to me,
not a good enough.
There's enough variance in sacks that at 9-1, it's not quite interesting enough. But I do think they'll be able to get pressure. I don't like that price at 9-1.
Okay, then second, my follow up for our guest, and I wish we had found this market earlier in our team preview process, Sean. But the Kansas City Chiefs, because they're a good team, they are projected on the bottom half of the to lead the league in kickoff return touchdowns. They are one of the 35-1 teams. How do you feel about your special teams unit? Do you think the Chiefs have a chance to get a kickoff return for a touchdown this year? Because our handicap of this market is there are 32 teams in the NFL. 19 of the teams are 25-1 or longer. We're going to bet all of them with the idea that 2 gets you gets you home. But the Chiefs, Andy Reid in particular, it seems like they're not going to completely punt on special teams. They have a lot of speed. They've had creative attempts at these kinds of things in the past. So how are we feeling about the Chiefs getting a kickoff return this year?
I mean, definitely it'll happen. I think every team's going to get a kickoff return touchdown. Almost every team, because of the way things are configured. It's just like there's so much difference that people have to deal with, and I think there's going to be lapses all over the place.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a football play.
The first preseason game, our special teams was terrible, and then this Lions game, it was good. So I trust Dave Tobe, our special teams coordinator, to kind of figure all that stuff out. My hesitancy is that I think it's going to be Sky Moore back there.
Ooh.
And he's
still on the team.
Yeah,
Huh?
I think he's going to make the team as our kickoff return guy.
Okay.
So
Still got 2 Y's in his name.
I'll throw it on there, Ryan, because again, like smart coaches like Andy Reid, like Harbaugh, John Harbaugh, I think we'll take advantage. We'll have something schemed up. There'll be one trick play that Andy Reid will have. Maybe it's Carson Steele, Ryan.
Really on this guy.
I mean, maybe there's just going to be some trick in his bag.
He's thrown a pass in a game before.
Yeah, no, I think there's going to be some sort of double pass back.
I'm sure you already knew that, Danny. But Carson Steele has thrown a football in a game.
Or maybe they put Carson Wentz back there to return kicks.
Double Carson?
There's going to be one like sideways pass, like
if
weird
Carson
double
Wentz
reverse.
returns a kickoff in this calendar year, that would be an amazing.
They were
moment.
talking about Justin Fields. I can see Carson.
Can't
Wentz
wait
there.
for God's eye to be fired.
Week 18 against the Broncos. This is all coming out.
We're getting the Carson Wentz game. I like that.
All right, so Danny, yeah, I'm with you right on the Rashee Rice stuff. The kick return stuff is a system play. Danny, what else you got going here?
Well, we were talking about sacks, and so just to clue people in on at least how I feel, listening to every single Chiefs podcast and watching every single piece of Chiefs content.
Like your credentials.
So I believe that Chris Jones probably due for maybe a regression a little bit. Got the bag. He's older. He's still good, and I think he still can get 9-10 sacks. But it took him all season, including that final game at SoFi where nobody else among the starters was playing, to get 10 sacks so he could get his bonus. The line is 10.5. I feel like he might go below that.
Oh, okay.
That said, I think Karlaftis is undervalued, and I think he's going to get a little bit more production because he had 10.5 last year and the line is at 9.5.
Yeah.
And so he's only getting better and ascending, and another year under Joe Cullen, great D-line coach. And then, he's already done it. So why wouldn't he do it again? They play him all the time. He's on the field constantly.
So Chris Jones under 10.5 sacks, George Karlaftis over 10.5 sacks.
Over 9.5 was the line I saw. So I mean,
sorry,
but
Jesus Christ,
hey,
Sean.
both. Why not?
No, sorry. Chris Jones under 10.5, right?
Yeah.
And then Karlaftis over 9.5.
Over 9.5.
Great. Well, and do you have an underdog one, Danny?
an underdog.
I'll help him
wouldn't-
with-
yeah, because that
I'll-
one
So you know what?
I'll throw an assist out there. Chris Jones lower 11.25 sacks.
yeah. So I think definitely lower.
Which
because that's what they got over on Underdog. So
that's a monster number. He's gone higher than that twice in his career, both times 15.5 sacks. Every other season he's gone lower than that total. I'll tail on that. I mean, a lot of logic there, but also it's a lot easier to just say Chris Jones isn't going to fucking beat us. And so, yeah, like it. And the bag element.
yeah, I'll co-sign that.
Defensive linemen kind of show up to work. They're blue collar.
He does just enough. Like
Yeah.
I don't think he hasn't been in training camp for the last couple of weeks. I think that's mainly a fake
Slow
injury,
start.
and I think he just kind of wants to sit around and chill. And I think that's his attitude. This
Players
season.
coach Andy Reid.
Until the playoffs, then he's going to turn it.
Then
on.
he's gonna get serious.
Okay.
All right. Any other? Let's take a look at what we got here. Unless there's any other ones you want to toss out, Danny,
Oh,
or Ryan.
all over the place, anywhere we want to go.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Any other
Yeah.
Chiefs bets?
I've just been I'll just say I think Mahomes goes nuclear, and I think you can press the over hard on over 4,500 yards, over 4,200
So
yards. I
MVP?
think on Underdog. I mean, he had over 4,200 with terrible receivers.
yeah.
So he's gonna get there.
any chance? I mean, the MVP. He didn't win it last year. I do have him as a 1 seed. What's the 5-1 is what, like a 17-point dog?
It's so narrative driven, though. You know, people are gonna have to want him to be the MVP. And if Aaron Rodgers has a good season, or if CJ Stroud just really blows up,
I've been saving this one, but I think there's a couple players in the NFL game and the college game that now are a little too close to what Patrick Mahomes is, and maybe I've kind of come around on the idea that he does need to have a season to shut people up. Like, no, Caleb Williams is not anything like me. No, this Riola kid at Nebraska is nothing fucking like me just because he has a sick Jerry curl.
that's sick single white female shit. Right?
Yeah,
That was very.
But
weird.
it's not. He didn't even win the MVP last. Like Mahomes being angry, that is something that has consistently come through his tone on in press conferences. What the beat reporters are writing about, like there's a chip on a guy's shoulder. Who has been the best in the league the last 2 years. So I do like the idea of him going for like 50 touchdowns.
Also, number 4 on the NFL's top 100. Number fucking 4.
I forgot about
the
that.
last time that they
was
put
really
him,
hilarious.
they put him number 4 a couple of years ago,
what
and
happened?
he threw a touchdown and immediately started counting the 4 on his fingers. You remember that?
No.
He reads that shit. He knows.
Oh, he's a very online aware.
he internalizes.
Shout out to you, Patrick. Thanks for tuning in. Once you get all the plays.
I'm betting the MVP when we get out to Vegas.
Okay. Are you adding it to the sheet, Ryan?
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes.
I haven't given out too many MVPs this year, and this was part of it.
What was it? 5-1 or 6-1?
I what's the circa got? I'm getting the circa price.
All right, we'll call it 6-1. So Danny, you got the over passing yards. Any other plays you want to toss in? Do you worry about jinxing Super Bowl?
Super Bowl is happening.
Okay.
We're getting the 3-peat. They just want it too bad. It's just such a beautiful thing to happen in a crazy year for the nation. I think we need some stability in our Super Bowl winners. So I definitely think the Chiefs are doing this thing. I actually want to just take issue with your I'm going to just call it ball licking of the Denver Broncos.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just think they're trash. I can't believe you would be high on them at all. Them and the Chargers.
Relatively.
He's very high on Bo Nix.
Bo Nix looks cool.
I mean, Bo Nix is probably at best.
I think
late stage Drew Brees, right?
I think Sean Payton is a good coach, and I think everyone just has him as a complete garbage, dumpster fire. I think Ryan, much like when I stuck my neck out in 2022 for the Seattle Seahawks,
so bold.
I will say, what did I had the Broncos going? 9-8. So again, their win total is 5.5. So I'm definitely much higher than market on the Denver Broncos.
If that's what being high is, then okay. But I'm thinking in terms
I'm not
of
having them making a run or anything.
The second place team in the division. You can call the exacta.
Oh, okay. What do you like
in the division? And I like Chiefs Raiders.
Okay.
I think the Raiders defense is very, very underrated.
Co-sign me.
And I also think that the offense has nowhere to go but static. Just nowhere to go but across.
This is a sign that is a plus 420 bet.
Oh, there you go, Ryan.
Hell yeah.
I like Minshew. I think he can win games.
I'm with you. I think the this is the first sane person we've had on when talking about the AFC West. I think the Chargers and the Broncos are going to be bottom dwellers, and I like the Raiders to be a scrappy. I think in my projection, I think they're like 10-win team, wild card baby.
Oh, look
That's a
out.
little crazy. 9 is the ceiling, but hey, I like the enthusiasm is fine. 10 wins at most, sure.
This is the Chiefs preview, but you have to realize that Gardner Minshew carries the flag for Mike Leach, who was the all-time Pirate coach. He now is going to quarterback a team of Pirates.
And
you're telling me there isn't going to be some autumn wind blowing down from the heavens? I like this Raiders team to be the ultimate ride or die team this year. The vibes team. I've got a lot of vibes teams this year, but the Raiders are up there.
And Pierce, players coach, they like playing for him.
Hit a little bit of a jackpot on the NFL slot with the Raiders. FYI.
The slot. How's the slot?
All right, so you got the Chiefs Raiders exacta. I mean, look at this. Just slate the menu that Danny brought out here. Obviously, a lot of optimism on the Chiefs. Ryan and Danny have them 13-4. I have them 12-5. We got the Chris Jones lower 11. I think it's 0.25, but 11.5 sacks. Call it there. And then Xavier Worthy lower receiving yards. The Rashee Rice stuff. I really like being positive on him, especially. And I would say bet it now because I guess I would be really surprised if we get some news that that's gonna. I just don't see him being suspended this year. I mean, Danny, are we wrong to assume he's not going to be suspended this year?
That's what all the beat writers are saying. Is like it's starting to feel like this isn't going to happen yet. That the NFL is letting people memory hole what happened. Yeah, which is pretty disgusting. I want to say, as a human being, of course, not.
But
good.
yes, none of that is. And we're talking football. No human being angles here.
Yeah, it's a fine line though, because I mean, Punk God being an extreme example of what happens when you act quickly,
too rational.
Sure, yeah. And so I think they'll give the legal system an entire NFL season to mull this one over, and leaving the scene of an accident where nobody got killed, we can give that some time. We can let that breathe.
We can think that over.
It also just, if you want to blame someone, blame the legal process. Why do they need to wait until the winter to deal with this? I mean, come on.
Of course
we don't work Fridays, Mondays, half days,
Court's full.